I'm a huge believer in frozen food. I am never going to cut up an onion again since I discovered frozen onions.
So good, isn't it?
Exactly. That literally is the best thing since sliced bread, is frozen onions. If you are struggling with fatigue and that sort of thing, make the most of it. It can work out cheaper too, because these diets and healthy eatings, often people worry about the expense. But if you're using frozen foods, then there's no waste, because you can just use the amount you want. So whether it be a mixed Mediterranean vegetable medley thing, or as I say, frozen ginger, frozen garlic, it's a really easy way that you can then just sort of throw meals together with a lot less effort. So absolutely, if you've got the energy and you like to do everything fresh, then that's fantastic. But if you can't, then you should never feel bad or guilty or a failure if you then end up having to use more pre-prepared foods. So they're there to be used as well. I think the other thing that I'm always banging on about is planning. And I don't think you can overestimate how important planning is for all sorts of reasons. But if you're looking at the cost side of things, then again, if you're planning ahead, you're going to be buying food that you're going to use, rather than, you say, getting to the end of the week and finding you've got stuff that's going out of date and hasn't been used. It's much easier to look at portion sizes and things like that as well. And also, if you're planning ahead, it's just easier. If it comes to the end of the day and you're absolutely pooped and the fatigue is really, you're not going to be able to think what you want to eat. But if you've already thought about it before, then you're far more likely to be able to go ahead and do that than just think, I'm too tired, and just end up eating a handful of biscuits or something like that. So planning is really, really important. And then also, you can make the most of sort of cheaper at that time. Is there something on offer that you can then incorporate in what you're going to have that week? Can you incorporate more beans and pulses and the lower cost foods that still give you a good source of protein? So if you're doing a shepherd's pie or anything with mince, always bung in some lentils or some baked beans to make the meat go further. And then I would say as well, cook for the freezer, because sometimes things are cheaper in bulk, particularly if you're on your own, or there's a couple of you and your partner doesn't eat very much or something like that. Again, if you cook larger amounts and then freeze them, you've got a ready meal ready for when you're having a bad day. But then also it saves money when you plan ahead and do it that way.
Generally, I try to sort of stick to the weekly shop, and it does save both time and money. And it's quite a simple thing, isn't it? And we get it delivered as well, so I don't actually have to go to the shop, which is quite nice, because then you don't end up buying lots of extra stuff.
Yeah, I get all mine delivered online, because there's no way I can walk around a supermarket. And if I did get around a supermarket, I could not get it home and unpacked, and let alone even contemplate thinking about cooking after all of that effort. So get it delivered. A lot of the supermarket websites, you can still identify the various offers online. In fact, they often sort of come up and pop up at you and say, this is on offer, that's the other. So you don't miss out. But it does mean that you don't have the temptation of going down the biscuit aisle and the confectionery aisle and all that kind of thing. Because if you're doing it online, you're not there. I think, shopping online is a great way of doing it. Definitely make sure you're drinking enough, particularly with fatigue, because sometimes people are just dehydrated. And that can make the fatigue a lot worse. Plan ahead, make the most of everything that can help you, and never feel guilty about it. So if you need more help, if you can't do everything right from fresh and things like that, it doesn't matter. Find a way around it.